To get to the schedule system, go to cmmserv, that's cmmserv.mrl.illinois.edu. You can log in either with your NetID or with your MRL user number and your password. Even if you log in with your NetID, don't use your email password because it's not the same system. Then click Login. At the top, you'll see a list of useful links, including the text to use in the acknowledgement section of your papers using your work at the facilities, link to safety information and staff contact information, and also how you log out at the end. If you have multiple user numbers, for example, if you have multiple projects, these will show up here and you can switch between them. Beneath that is the list of safety trainings that you've completed, and they will change color and say expiring soon if you're coming up on the time when you need to do the safety trainings again. If it's something like the BEEP, which you need to do every year. If you need to make changes, click on the Update Info button, and you can change things such as if you accidentally put your home address in here, you can change this so that it's your work address. If you want to change something, for example, your name, that you can't change in this page, email mrl-facilities@illinois.edu and we'll help you out. With all of these forms, if you make a change, make sure to click Submit so that it is actually written to the database in the system. Beneath that area is where it will have all the sessions that I have scheduled for today and for upcoming days. To reserve time on an instrument that you have already been trained on, you can select it from this drop-down list here. Let's sign up for time on this instrument. I select it and then click Reserve Instrument. That takes me to the page. Here's the session that I have scheduled for this Wednesday. Let's say I want to sign up for time. To sign up for time, you just click on a time slot when you want to start and click on the time slot when you want it to end. So if I wanted to end at 8 p.m., I would click here because 8 p.m. is that bottom line there. Then you can click Go. If you want to change your mind, you can click Ignore. So for example, if I want to start at 6:30 p.m. and go to 7:30 p.m., and then I'll click Go. With some instruments, you can cancel your session all the way up to the time when you started. With other instruments, you will need to give advance notice because it's harder for other users to plan if you cancel your time right before the session starts. To find out if the instrument you're reserving is one which has that requirement, click on the Sign Up Rules button, and it will say if there are any restrictions, as well as giving you the email addresses for the staff members. You can also send an email directly to the staff by clicking this Notify Staff button, and the schedule system will bring up an email. You don't need to sign into your email in order to email the staff. So please don't hesitate to email us if there is a problem with the instrument or you have a question. If I want to cancel my session, the way to do it is to click on my name at the top and then click Go under this Delete menu. If the session has already started, then it will delete the remainder of the session. So if, for example, I had a session that started at 5 o'clock because it's 5:26 p.m. right now, and then reserve a session until 6:30. Since the session has already started and it's after the time block here, which starts at 5 p.m., if I click on this session, it can't delete that first part, but you can delete the remainder of the session. To do that, click Go, and it will delete the time remaining. If there is a person after you, it's polite to click on their name to email them to let them know that the session is available. You can click on the name and it will bring up a pop-up window, and you can then email the person and say, I finished early, you can start early if you want. Note that in the case of social distancing, people can't go right one after the other. There's a 1 hour gap where we're leaving time for social distancing. That explains why on this particular instrument calendar, There's some taupe colored session here because this instrument is right next to another instrument, and for social distancing reasons, we allow only one of those instruments to be in use at a time. Click on the date at the top, and you can do this up to a week in advance, and add yourself to the wait list. Then, if anyone who was on the schedule for that day cancels time, the system will automatically send you an email. Click on the return button to go back to the menu, and you can see that that second session I added is listed in the scheduled sessions here as well. To request training on an instrument, you can select from our list of all the instruments here, or you can narrow it down a bit to finding an instrument in a smaller list and click Request Training. For some instruments, there will be a note up at the top, which will often tell you something like what to bring to the first session, or it will give you a link to training videos to watch, or it will alert you to the various modes that are available on the system. Let's go to an instrument with a slightly smaller list of questions to answer. Click Request Training. Make sure to read each question fully. In this case, if I am interested in using one particular instrument, I'll put that in because that's what the question asks. The next question is not relevant to me, so I'm going to put that it's not applicable. Put in as much detail as possible. Almost all of these training request pages will ask you about your schedule. Some, like this one, asks what times are you not available, and then the staff members will schedule you assuming that every time that you don't mention is available. So if you're always available on just not next Tuesday morning, please specify that. And then we'll assume that the rest of the time you are available. Other instruments will ask you this saying what times are you available for training. A few of the instruments have standard training times, so we'll ask, are you available during those times? That doesn't mean that's the only time that training is offered. So if you aren't available during those times, please specify times that you are available, and we'll schedule you as soon as we can. Then click Submit Request. This is a copy of your request. You will receive that as an email, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. I have assigned this time as a staff member, and you will receive an email about your specific training time. If you have questions, please email mrl-orientation@illinois.edu and we will help you out. If you think there's something wrong in the schedule system, then report a bug. Otherwise, log out, and we wish you the best of success with your research.